I'm going to order all my food. And guess what?
Is there still no sound? Good evening, my lovely justice warriors. If you can please let me know if you can hear me. This is so frustrating. I thought I had it fixed. And once again, my lovely listeners said no sound, no sound. So if anybody is out there, sound? Wait, what? There's sound? Now let me try. I'm going to plug in my mic and see if it works. Okay. And then if it doesn't work, I'll just unplug it.
Don't try to act all nice to people you don't know.
Let's see. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is there sound now? Or did that take the sound away?
I didn't take 4 chicken nuggets. See, look, 4 chicken nuggets.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, see a whole.
You can hear me. Oh, how exciting. How exciting. So I was going to do a live with Mrs. G's live in the background. I asked her for her permission. Can you still hear me? Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. This has been so frustrating. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Annie Ruler and Sherry. I am just thrilled to have you here. Thrilled that the sound is working. I really came on just to do a sound check, but I thought I would say hi and touch base with you guys. So thanks for being here. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. And what else? I got my love will save the day. Where is it? There it is. Love will save the day. I think that's pretty awesome. So, how are you guys? It's 11:23 my time. On what day is it? I think it's still Wednesday, right? It's the 24th of January. So, there's been a little commotion in the Watts Island. Do you guys keep up with Watts Island? It's a dreadful case, and there's the dreadful NK that's still like out on the streets of humanity. How's my hair? It's a little cray, huh? So Annie Elise, 10 to Life, did a big 1 hour, over an hour, maybe like an hour and 20-minute show about it. And that girl, wow, she's like ruling the YouTube land. So I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing. I'm planning on it. I hope that she can bring some attention to the fact, in my opinion, that DA Rourke needs to be recalled if he's not going to pay attention to common sense and reopening that case and looking at NK. Are you guys still there? Can you still hear me? Check. Oh no, you guys left me. So let's see. The other cases I wanted to touch base on. I did recheck my dates for Gabby Petito. Yes. Oh, thank you, Sherry. You're so sweet. I checked the dates. Oh, and the hotel. So it was a Fairfield Inn that she stayed at in Salt Lake City, Utah, from August 17th until August 23rd. And they would have that on surveillance cameras. But what was it that I had thought about when I was looking it up? Oh, just the whole thing about how Brian Laundrie said, his family said that he flew home for those 6 days to clean out that storage unit to save money, right? Staying in a hotel for 6 days, that costs a lot of money. The plane ticket costs a lot of money. It doesn't add up. These cops, DAs, judges, they need to get jail time, lose pensions, in my opinion. So Annie Ruler, this is my crazy conspiracy theory. Okay. The Scott Peterson's case getting taken on by an innocence project that isn't a real innocence project. From my understanding, it's like some bogus faux innocence project. I am paranoid that there's a movement to try to undermine the Innocence Projects that are outing corruption and the prosecutorial misconduct. And these people that are getting exonerated, the people that mishandled their cases are not getting investigated, you guys. So if they can undo the whole Innocence Project to get back to anybody that gets convicted is a slam dunk, and it's a done deal, and it doesn't matter if you were set up. There's nothing you can do about it, because they're going to make a joke of this whole Innocence Project thing. That's my fear. That's my paranoia. Cats, puppies, love. That's cute. So yeah, I hope that I'm just being paranoid. I hope that that's just a bizarre conspiracy theory, because, you know, I got them, right? That's what I do. Sherry, zero consequences, and they are messing with people's lives. So you guys, if you've heard me talk about Dean Gillespie, he's a local guy in Ohio who was convicted of several essays that he didn't commit. I think they happened at the end, like around 1990. I'll just throw some years out there. I could be off. He was somewhere around 20, 21 years old when it happened, and it was not him that did it. He had receipts. He had been cleared, but he had a job at a GM factory that was a really good job that somebody else wanted. And their friend was a cop, and the cop wrongfully convicted Dean Gillespie for 23 years of essays that he didn't commit. He was finally exonerated by the DNA proof. So whoever committed those atrocities is still out and about. The detective that destroyed the evidence that cleared him, that detective has only gotten promotions, has never gotten investigated. So after serving 23 years of his life, when he was about, I think, roughly 46 years old, about 11 years ago, he got released from prison. And then it took him 11 years to win a judgment of $45 million from the state of Ohio for his wrongful conviction. That was over a year ago. That was a year ago, November. So November of 2022. It was, to my knowledge, the largest settlement or judgment or compensation for a wrongful conviction. $45 million, you guys. And the people that were assaulted by the perp thought that they got justice, thought that they were served justice, and that the perp was served justice. Come to find out that there was even more injustice served, and that they were straight up lied to. It's not like they thought that this guy did it. It's not like it was an accident. They knew he didn't do it. The detective's friend wanted his job. Are you freaking kidding me? I wonder if there's not more to it. I wonder who did the crimes. And maybe that whole thing about wanting his job, maybe that's just a cover story, instead of, you know, well, we're protecting our buddy that actually committed these crimes. I don't know. I mean, how on earth? So that's my fear with the Scott Peterson thing. I think it's a sham. I think it's bogus. I think it's BS. Amanda Knox is also hooked up with the Innocence Project, and it sickens me. It absolutely sickens me. Zero consequences. They are messing with people's lives. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. And yeah, so Mr. Gillespie, I think, is incredibly cool, because his major concern is for the victims that got shafted, the victims that got lied to, the victims who got no justice and basically can't feel that there's any safety in the world, right? Nothing is enough to the treatment they get in prison. Yeah. And these people that are getting released from innocence projects across the nation, it's just mind-boggling. And it horrifies me, it terrifies me, honestly, to think that there could be a movement to try to throw shade at innocence projects in general. I mean, Stephen Avery was the first innocence project that I ever heard of. That was in Wisconsin. And then the day before the Wisconsin was supposed to pay him millions of dollars, the new thing happened with Teresa Holbrecht. I honestly can't talk much to that case because I got so fed up with it. You know, I watched the whole Netflix series, the first season of it. I couldn't watch the second season of it. And I know there's been more happening lately with it. But yeah, the whole thing with Brendan, his nephew, and the police officer that interviewed him that cried when he was on the stand. The police officer cried when he was providing witness testimony on the stand. Like, dude, get a hold of yourself. I mean, not that I don't have compassion for emotional people on the stand, but he was the one who screwed over the kid, and then he's up there on the stand crying about it. How about the kid that you screwed over? Wow. Okay. Annie Ruler says Mark Duena's family got Innocence Project working on his case after they saw our webpage transcript, etc., saw he was guilty, called them off. Innocence Project, in my opinion, needs to sift better. Well, and like I said, I'm suspicious that there are people who are trying to undermine the credibility of the Innocence Project. Yeah, I haven't heard about that one. Thanks, Annie Ruler. So yeah, Gabby Petito and the trip that Brian took to Florida, and then he flew back. I think the 24th of August was when they reconnected. And then the 27th of August, I spoke about this yesterday, was when they had their Mary Piglets incident. And right after that, they had the Whole Foods, where if you look at the videotape footage of them walking through Whole Foods, I'm pretty sure that Gabby put something in her bag and didn't pay for it when she was leaving the store. That they didn't go through a checkout counter. And I'm pretty sure she put at least one thing in her bag that you can see on the surveillance camera. And that's not to shame her at all. That's just to try to figure out what was going on the last day of her life, the last hours of her life. You know, they had that big scene at Mary Piglet's, and then the Whole Foods surveillance footage was not released to the public until a very long time later, right? And then we all know that van life channel, Red, White, and Bethune, was fortunate enough to catch the van on videotape at 5:30 that night on August 27th. And you see that one of the back doors is being closed as they're approaching it. And you can see her hat in the passenger seat. You can see that there's sandals on the ground right outside of the back of the van doors. It's just chilling. And thank goodness that they had that footage, that they remembered that they had it, that they were able to find it, and they were able to help law enforcement figure out where her remains were. I mean, otherwise they could play it off the way they so often do, which is just, oh, this person is missing, right? I mean, that's how Chris Watts would have preferred to play it off. That's how Barry Morphew was trying to play it off. It's crazy, isn't it? What's also crazy is my lighting. What the heck? It seems like there's like a shadow on my face. It's my 5 o'clock shadow, you guys. Maybe I should put a baseball cap on. Would that, I don't know if that would help with my 5 o'clock shadow. I will try it. I will try anything. It's my favorite hat. One of my mods made this slogan, love saves lives, justice A to Z. So I'm thinking that this should be the hat that we have for the channel if other people want to get in on the action. So yeah, I quit my job. I am fully dedicating myself to my yoga practicing and my yoga teacher certification and my YouTube and trying to get monetized because I really enjoy doing this and I do need to have an income. So it's going to be a rough transition, but you know, fortunately I've spent over a year building up this channel. So fingers crossed that it can work out. So yeah, merchandise, monetization. I don't know about those cash apps. That stuff bothers me, but maybe memberships, you know, doing the members only stuff. I think that's actually pretty cool because then you have a really nice chat crew, right? But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. You know, it's a big shift. It's, you know, I was very much wanting to keep my full-time job, full-time paycheck. And at the same time, of course, I mean, a lot of people dream about quitting their jobs, right? But I did love my job. There are many things about it that I loved, but I just had too many things going on and had to simplify. So that's a new thing, and I'm really excited about it. The other new thing in my life that you guys might know if you saw my video yesterday and last week was my freaking toe. So they were going to do a procedure on my toe, and they decided that it didn't need it. So I went to the appointment, and I thought I was going to get some kind of surgical, like a ingrown toenail type of surgery, and I was going to have to wear a boot. And that was really going to mess with my my yoga practice and everything else in my life. So I was thrilled that they said I didn't need to get my toe cut into, and they think it'll heal on its own. So that's exciting. It's very positive. Innocence Project means, well, we get that. Maybe a really good lie detector evaluator could help. A polygraph trainer says they are accurate. It is the evaluators that are imperfect. Right, Annie. I think that the Innocence Projects are awesome. Absolutely, 100% awesome. But I think the one that is taking on Scott Peterson's case is a sham. I think that's completely bogus. So thanks for asking about my toe, Sherry. Yeah, I know. Isn't that exciting? It's amazing how literally stubbing your toe, I mean, it can just be this downward spiral. It was getting infected. It is still infected, but the infection is under control, and they think it'll heal without having to do that. But, you know, if the infection gets into your bloodstream, I mean, it can just cascade out of control, like something so simple, so basic. I mean, we all have to take care of ourselves. And to me, this just really hits at home that I need to do everything I can to be as happy and healthy as I can be, you know, and doing my YouTube is such a source of, what's the word? I mean, I have so much gratitude for it. It's such a source of satisfaction. It's extremely, it's hard to even put into words. It's extremely surprising. It's just a really rich experience. It's so different than I thought it would be. Had I any idea of what it was going to be, I would have done it much sooner. But I thought it was just going to be a lot of work and not that much fun. And it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I really appreciate you guys. I haven't done my little disclaimer. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of conversation, always hoping to open up a discussion and learn something. And all my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. And okay, Jackie says, keep using that peroxide morning and night. So, I've seen so many professionals now about my toe. I've seen at least two nurse practitioners, one of whom is a certified wound expert. I saw the podiatrist yesterday, the one that was going to do the surgery. I saw a couple other nurses. I've gone to the urgent care a few times. I got x-rays on Saturday night, because they were convinced that there was a fracture and they were worried about the infection getting into the fracture. So I don't have a fracture, which is great, but the infection is still something that you need to focus on, right? I've been on like 4 different antibiotics, and that's rough. But my point is that I thought hydrogen peroxide too. And then some of the professionals that I've consulted with have said no to the hydrogen peroxide. The doctor that I saw yesterday, the podiatrist, said yes to the hydrogen peroxide. But for the most part, they want me to use Betine. I think it's just called Betine, like Betine. It's red stuff, kind of like iodine, and it's supposed to dry it out. And also this silver cream. So the cream has silver in it, and that's like an antibiotic to go directly onto your skin. So those are the 2 things that I'm using. And so far, so good. It brings you joy, fulfillment. Oh, those are good words, Jackie Bushable. And it's just so late at night, and me, brain no worky. Scott Peterson blew it with Alibi. Too cold to golf, so took a boat on the bay. The bay is freezing in the summer. This was December. Anna, you reminded me of the great quote. The coldest winter I ever experienced was a summer in San Francisco, right? Liar told Amber Fry his wife died. Yeah. Oh. Okay, I know a lot about the Scott Peterson case, or let's call it the Lacey Peterson and Connor Peterson case. I paid very close attention to that. I lived in the Bay Area, not when it happened, but I had my first child around the same time that happened. I think I was pregnant when that happened. Anyway, because I had my first baby in March of 2002. And I want to say that it happened Christmas of 2001. Is that right? Was it Christmas of 2001? I could look up on my phone, but if you guys want to look it up, I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, one of the many things that gave Scott Peterson away very quickly, he had told some neighbors that he went golfing, and then he told other neighbors that he went boating. So that was, pretty apparent right there. But when he was speaking with the police, he told them about the boating thing, and he pulled a receipt out of his pocket to prove to them that he had been at the parking place, where the dock. So immediately he pulled that out of his pocket to prove to them. Too soon, too fast. They knew right then and there that he did it. A couple other real simple things that made them 100% solid sure right away. When he was at his house talking to them after he pulled out the receipt, things weren't going well with the conversation in the house. He'd ordered pizza, he did laundry, there was bleach, they were seeing all this stuff. And he went outside and he thought no one was around, and he threw some gloves on the ground and he said, "Fuck." And one of the detectives saw him. And so that also hit home further what they already knew. And then one more thing that really gave him away was they set up ground zero search headquarters in a Red Roof Inn or something like that. And they had like big buffets with bagels and cream cheese and fruit and snacks. And, it was where everyone could organize to go search for Lacey. And he walked in and he was like, oh, food. And he was like getting his plate and getting his food and eating food and talking to people all casual. And they were just like, no, dude, if your wife was missing and you were worried because she's far along in her pregnancy and you thought she was abducted, you would have no appetite. Note to self, you got to pay attention to stuff like that. So those were 3 really simple things that he completely screwed up on. There was a lot more too, of course, but those are 3 interesting factoids. Yeah, thinking about the Kiely Rodn case and those freaking search parties, like, did you ever see anybody searching? All they did was wander around, and they're all so sad, and they're setting up a website, and they're talking about how traumatized everybody is. Like, why are people traumatized when she might have just gone away for a weekend without telling anyone? No one's going to be traumatized from that. You guys are giving yourselves away. Telling on yourselves, people. Thank you. Okay, Scott, guilty as hell. That right there is I want to highlight Annie Rulers because hers is really good too, but then I'll highlight that one because that is precisely it. How long has it been hurt? Annie, it was 2 weeks ago, the day after tomorrow. So it was a Friday afternoon that I did it. It happened at work, but I'm not going to do a workman's comp thing. And then it wasn't until Saturday that I went to the urgent care. So, I mean, I thought I broke it when it first happened. I was in such pain. I mean, like more pain than anything in my life other than childbirth. I could hardly breathe or think or move for a good solid 20 minutes. And then when I was able to breathe and think and move and I could walk and wiggle it, I thought, okay, it's not broken. I didn't think it was bleeding at first. It was a while before because I was barefoot, and I don't know if I was just out of it or if it took a while. Maybe it took a while to start bleeding because the way the toe was injured. I don't want to get into gross details about it, but anyway, there was a lot of the red stuff, and I thought, maybe I should get it checked out, but it didn't seem like anything was broken since I could walk and wiggle it and all that. So when I went in the morning to the urgent care, I thought I was kind of being ridiculous in erring on the side of caution. And no, the wound expert said, if you didn't come in the next few days, it would have been an absolute major health disaster, like completely, I'd be toast. So because of infection and stuff like that. So after that, when I went to follow-up appointments, I thought I was being extremely cautious, and they were just like, no, it's a good thing you came in. So yeah. Red and painful open wound. Gross. So yeah, so basically they were going to treat it like an ingrown toenail. And so it's my left big toe. I could show it to you, but I don't know. That's kind of gross. It's not like gangrenous or anything. Let me see. I put a picture. Yeah, I don't want to show it to you because I got the silver cream on it. But I'll show you the foot. No, you can't see it. It's too hard. See, it's a good thing I do yoga, right? So it's this big toe, and it's on the inside. So on the outside here, it looks normal. But on the inside, I think what happened was, I can kind of, see, I've been doing a lot of yoga. A lot. Okay, can you see it now? No, you still can't. This is hilarious, isn't it? Now can you see it? Kind of, almost. Here, I'll get my little light. There. Now I've like flooded it out. So it is here and there's silver cream on it. So it looks white and pussy. That's not pus. That's the silver cream. And here's where it's infected. You can see the red. I don't know if you can see it or not. The light might be blinding it out. And then I think what had happened was the toenail actually like flipped upside down partially. I think it kind of like broke, but that it didn't break completely and that it went back. I think that might be why it took a while for the blood to start gushing out. There, that was cool. Now I need to do it on the other side so I'm even. That was hilarious. I was seriously not planning on doing anything like that, but you know, you just roll with it. So yeah, anyway, that's my toe. And I was afraid that it was going to hurt my ability to do yoga, which it affected it, but you know, I'm able to work around it. And it's just one of those things. You know, I'm a person that thinks everything happens for a reason. And I think that it's good to persist with something like a yoga training with an injury like that. It was going to be a real curveball if I had a boot on that foot. And that might have taken me out of the game. But, you know, we all have health issues and we all need to keep taking care of ourselves through our injuries and health issues. So let's see, red and painful open wound. So there, you guys got to see it. It's not so gross anymore. It's a lot better. And it would have been really gross if they would have done the procedure yesterday. I was so happy when they said they weren't going to do it. Like, instead of being like, oh man, you made me come to this appointment and how much am I going to have to pay? I was just like, okay, this is the bomb. Thank you. I love you. I'm out of here. I was so happy. That would have bummed me out. Anyway, I like that you're laughing about the winter San Francisco. You haven't heard that one, Annie? It's the truth. I lived in Gilroy. Trial was in our county. Okay, was Gilroy, is that Washington State or is that California? Because, I think it's in California, right? I remember you talking about like Shasta County or something like that. Justice for Kiely Rodn. Thank you, Sherry. A volunteer at the Kiely Rodn search party was interviewed, said no cops searching that they saw. Oh my goodness. And okay, I'm so glad you jogged my memory. Illuminated Mind did an incredible video today. I'm going to put the link in the description. An incredible video. And this one person talking about how traumatized everybody was and how there were counselors for all of the traumatized community members. Like, she hadn't been found yet. I mean, once she was found, yeah, then that. But even in the photographs now of everybody at Ground Zero, like when they're in the circle and when, you know, all the boys are like this with their hats and their sunglasses, all of those people look so sad and guilty and guarded. It's like plain as day to me looking at those photographs that they knew what had happened. They knew something had happened. They knew she wasn't missing. But yeah, will there ever be justice for Kiely Rodn? I think so. I think we just got to keep hammering away at it. I want to say something about the information about Grass Valley in case anybody is talking about that. I know somebody asked about it on Mrs. G's channel just like half an hour ago. And Kiely Rodn living in Grass Valley and being identified as 18 years old is just an internet misinformation. Those things happen on the internet all the time. So I don't think that means anything other than misinformation on the computer. That I just want to clarify that. Short time period, not broken. Sprains are more painful and take longer to heal. I say short because after 6 months, an injury can turn to CRPS, RSD. Good, you were taking care. Yeah. Yep. That yoga is helping. You know what? I really noticed tonight. I did yoga this morning and yoga tonight. And I really noticed tonight a major progress and improvement, because I've been in very poor yoga shape, but I've been hammering away at it. So the fun thing about doing something so consistently is that you see progress really quickly, so I'm getting a lot more flexible. Like what I was just doing there with my toe, like that's pretty incredible. I can't believe I was doing that. I'm going to do the other side too. I've got my Jammie pants on. They're cute. They got like trailers on them and foxes. Anyway, enough about me and my silly, goofy stuff, right? California, right? The Gilroy, California, Santa Clara County. 46 years of your life. Wow. Santa Clara, is that the Bay Area? Santa Clara, is that like north of the Bay or south of the Bay, or is that some other part of the state? But yeah, California is beautiful. I've lived there off and on throughout my life. Growing up, I lived in Southern California for chunks of time. And then I lived in San Francisco for graduate school. I love San Francisco. I love the whole West Coast, but I also love Ohio. I also love DC. I was born and raised in DC also. Anyway, but yeah, 46 years in one county. That's a lot of stability, Annie Ruler. I like that. Yes, Bay Area, Gilroy, furthest city in Bay Area. North or south or east? Curious. To me, it seems like it's south, like near like Santa Cruz. South. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I can remember things. So yeah, the school that I went to was in Belmont, California, which is actually, it was right next to where they had the Scott Peterson trial, come to think of it. And I can't remember the name of the town, but Belmont was right next to the town that they ended up having the trial in. So that was another reason I felt very connected to it, just being so familiar. That was my stomping grounds for a couple of years. That was wild. That was really wild. If anybody remembers the name of the town. Anyway, rat bastard, Scott Peterson, and yeah, messing with, I think some of that is just hype. It's like news stations trying to get hype. It's this Innocence Project that I have heard is not affiliated with the real Innocence Projects, that it's like a phony baloney Innocence Project. I don't know. Anyway, I was going to read to you a couple of things that I had written down. I was closer to Monterey than Santa Cruz. Monterey was what I was trying to think of. Poly class was held in Santa Clara, San Jose. Yeah, Poly class was from Petaluma. I've been up there. I say up there because from San Francisco, it's up there. Petaluma, and then there's okay, San Jose is Santa Clara County. I don't know about like Palo Alto. Is that Santa Clara County? Yeah, change of venue. And that's what Scott Peterson had, the change of venue too. Oh, terrible. So yeah. Which notes should I read to you? Which notes? I wanted to read something just philosophical And where did it go? Where did my philosophy go? I had my philosophy notes written down. Oh no, now I've lost them. Just talking about balance and imbalance, because the injustice to me is imbalance, and helping shine light on injustices to me is bringing balance. And I just think it's interesting that the symbol, one of the symbols for our justice system is the scales. I think that's very interesting. Where did it go? Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if I can. That's the problem when I have too many notebooks. I try to consolidate so that I only have one, but then I don't have it in the right place at the right time, and then I end up having multiple, and then it gets ridiculous. There's been times when I've had way more than 3. I'll admit it. And then I try to go back to just having the one. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm almost there. I know where it is. It's right here. So close. I know I'm getting closer. This is what I wanted to share. Okay, I found it. Phew. I was making a fool of myself, huh? I don't mind, especially when it's late at night. Is a revolution in a hostile world. And yeah, that's what it was that I wanted to share with you guys. It's just so cute. Kindness is a revolution. Yep. And talking about the Innocence Project and the convolution, the manipulation, the taking advantage of. So these narcissists like Scott Peterson and Amanda Knox taking advantage of these systems that are in place for people who have been wronged. And then they're trying to pretend like they've been wronged. And it just kills me when people fall for the Amanda Knox thing. I recommend often for anyone who's interested in knowing more in depth. There was a documentary. I'll try to find it and put that information in the description. But True Crime Rocket Science. He's literally written 3 books on the Amanda Knox case, and he's done a series of deep dives that were so good. Like, when you start binge watching stuff, there was so much to consume on just True Crime Rocket Science, Amanda Knox, that it was overwhelming. But then when I was finished with it, I was like wanting more, right? I mean, that's some good binge watching for sure. And let's see. Brush Junkie just came out with another one today, you guys. I think maybe even 2 more today. But again, I saw the first half of the one that she did about the police chief, Pelletier. And I think it's important to add, I don't think that this is in her video, but I will link her video. I always do. I hope that doesn't bother her that I do that. And what was I going to say? That Pelletier, he did work for Las Vegas Police Department for 20 years prior to getting hired as the chief of the Maui Police Department. But he was only a captain at the Las Vegas Police Department for, I think, 1 year, captain. I mean, 20 years with a department, that's a noble thing, right? But when he was the lead with the Mandalay Bay live shooter, he was the lead in handling that. And I honestly haven't done a deep dive on that horrible tragedy. I've heard people criticize and say that it was handled poorly, but I don't know. But when he was the lead on that, he wasn't a captain. He was, I believe, just a regular officer. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I hope in her video she talks about his assistant that died in that bizarre single car crash in a parking lot 2 months after he started. I haven't finished it, so I'm pretty sure she'll mention that, because she's probably where I found out about that a long time ago. She's an amazing resource. I mean, she does a lot of homework, and she consults with people. So lately she's been consulting with people who specialize or are very adept at explaining the direct energy weaponry and how it works, and how what happened in Lahaina looks like that. It doesn't look like a regular fire. Let's see, where are we? Palo Alto is still Santa Clara County, barely. Okay, so then isn't Stanford in Palo Alto, or is it slightly north of Palo Alto? I had a cousin that was going to school there when I was going to the College of Notre Dame there in Belmont. That's now called the University of Notre Dame, I think. It's not the Notre Dame. The Notre Dame is in Indiana, but this is a Notre Dame. Just to be clear, there was a reputable former investigator said pain on this case makes 0 sense. Yeah, it absolutely makes 0 sense. I mean, Chief French Fry himself said that, they have like well over 100 years of combined experience, or however many years, it's a lot, in the department. So why pick the guy who's only been a cop for 2 years? Can you tell me that? Yeah, that reminded me of something else I wanted to share too about the Idaho 4 case, but what was it about? I mean, that whole case is just a freaking hot mess as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to read it again. There was a reputable former investigator said pain on this case makes 0 sense. Said it out loud and used to say no bashing survivors, etc. type guy. Yeah, Stanford is in Palo Alto. Okay, cool. That's such a pretty campus. So prestigious. My goodness, it doesn't get any more prestigious than a place like that. So yeah, what was it that I wanted to add about the Idaho 4 case? My biggest fear with that case from the time that Koberger was arrested was, I mean, when they first arrested him, I thought he was the guy. He looked like a freak, and they had all that evidence, and yeah, it was like, okay, it fits. If the shoe fits, then wear it, right? But then as time progressed, the first red flag that indicated to me that something was up was when there was the gag order, but yet the prosecution was releasing so much information to the media. I was just like, you got to be kidding. Like, that was what started to make me suspicious. It's like, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You can't say that there's a gag order on the case, but you get to say whatever you want to say. If there's a gag order on the case, there's a gag order on the case. And I was so convinced that they were above boards initially. If you guys might even have seen a video or two, might remember that I said there's a gag order on the case, therefore I'm not going to talk about it on my channel, because I don't want to muddy the water. I don't want to be speculating on a case that there's a gag order on. But then I got so suspicious of so many different things. Like I said, that was where it started. Was they they were giving us too much information to make him look guilty, and they're still doing that, in my opinion. You know, he does look guilty for a lot of reasons, but the way that they've been handling it, the way that they've been mishandling it, you know, the way that they were distributing the possessions from inside the house back to the family, and Chief French Fry saying, you know, well, we know that the families really want their stuff, so we want to give it to them. I mean, my first thought was the families really want justice. Of course they want their stuff, but more than the stuff, they want the freaking justice. So why aren't you focused on that? Like, don't focus on like the silly possessions that are in the house. Give them what they really want. Give them what they really need, which is the truth and justice. And it was when French Fry was driving that freaking U-Haul that I knew he was a joke, because police chiefs get paid too much to be driving a truck in a situation like that. That was just so cheeseball. That was when I knew that that man had zero credibility and zero integrity. And I was just like, this is disgusting. Again, you've got a huge case to be working on. You don't even have time to be driving a freaking truck. There's a lot of people that you could be paying 15 or 20 bucks an hour to drive that truck. Give me an effing break. So mad with the BS. Oh my goodness, we've been going on for 50 minutes. I was only going to come on and say hi. I'm so happy to have sound. I'm so happy to have you guys. Thank you. So, and yeah, I wanted to try to do a video today, but didn't get to it. So I thought, well, I'll just make sure that my sound works so I can try to do one tomorrow. So pain assigned was my first red flag in the time they waited for him to return, in my opinion. And the fact that they said he was 26 years old, and he wasn't 26 years old. He was 33, I think. Maybe he was 32 at the time, and then he turned 33. But why were they telling us that he was 26? That was bizarre. That was so strange. Fry likes camera. Ugh. He's just a joke. And again, he was one of 4 candidates for his position when he got promoted to be the police chief. And he'd never been a police chief. And Roger Lanier, the guy who is his captain, was one of those 4 candidates. And I think that Lanier was an assistant chief for a different department when he applied for that job. And I think that at least 1 or 2 of the other 4 candidates were police chiefs. So why did they pick somebody with 0 experience to be their police chief? I mean, 0 police chief experience, right? And yeah, sometimes that makes sense. You just want the right person, the right personality for the position. But I thought it was interesting. I don't know who the other candidates were that were up against billionaire university president Coomer Scott Green, but he was one of 4 candidates too. And he didn't have the typical qualifications for the job. Usually minimum qualification is a doctorate degree, minimum. Okay. He has a master's. Yeah, it's from Harvard, but whatever. It's still not the regular minimum. Usually bare bones minimum requirements are going to be that you've been an administrator for a university before. Like not even a president, but just an administrator. So he had 0 experience of any type of administration in education. He was maybe an administrator type for these law offices, but oh yeah. I'm going to guess that the other 3 candidates that he was up against probably all had doctorate degrees and probably all had administrative experience, maybe even as presidents of universities. I don't know. I could look into that. I don't know if it might be hard to find that information. I was surprised when I came across the information about Roger Lanier. Because, sometimes I'm just digging all over the freaking internet and I find this stuff that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like when I found out that the freaking president was a freaking billionaire. Like I totally stumbled into that simply trying to look up what his salary was, which I was fuzzy on in a video recently. I think, was that yesterday's video? And I can't remember if it was maybe somewhere around $600,000 annual salary, give or take a couple $100,000. And that's a lot of money. I mean, that's a freaking boatload of money. But that's nothing when you're a freaking billionaire. Like, and this was a point that I wanted to reiterate and really hit home. I would think running a university is a lot of work. I would think that it takes a lot of attention, a lot of time, a lot of focus. And you're making that salary, right? You're making your 6-figure salary. So where is he getting all this time to make another $250 million each year that he's been there? Because he's made another $1 billion for his empire while he's been the president of the university for the last 4 years. So yeah, I understand in high finances that all you have to do is invest your money and it regenerates more money, but it does take focus. You have to stay in touch with people. You have to stay on top of things. So how does he have the time and the wherewithal to focus on his growing his billions of dollars when he's supposed to be running a university and keeping everything running smoothly, keeping students from getting unalived in their homes? It's a conundrum. In my opinion, they hire the best cover-uppers. Annie Ruler, you are so smart. I love that term. I've never heard that term. They hire the best cover-uppers. Yeah, they hire usually puppets, people that they can control. So that yes men, right? That's another word for it. Cover-uppers, yes men, puppets. The first billion is the hardest. Well, it definitely has been the hardest for me. Oh, you're so funny. And let's sign off because it's after midnight. I might turn into a pumpkin. Oh, my pumpkin fell. I must have knocked it down when I was stretching my toes. Let's see. There we go. Got the pumpkin, got the mouse. What else? The kitty cats. There's a ton of fun stuff back here that I'm blocking. There's another mouse down here. I love this mouse. I'm going to introduce you guys. This is the mouse with the, he's like a runaway mouse. He's got a bag on his back with all of his worldly possessions in it. And he's going to cross this bridge here. There's a little duck. We got a little fairy house. What else we got? Lots of cool stuff. I like this a lot. My little pyramid thing. And I got this cute little house down here. See, I should put the mouse in this house because it should be he should be a house mouse, right? I got my orbs back. They were out of the picture for a long time. They were up higher on the shelf that's out of the view. Then I got these tiny things over here. The not Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, I think. the thing in Paris, whatever that thing is called. Is it the Eiffel Tower? And then a tube of paint, and there's a tiny bicycle right there. Oh, squirrel. Squirrel. Okay, there we go. We're good. All right, signing off. Adios, amigos. Hand in hand with the devil. Ooh, Sherry, what you talking about? What you talking about, girl? You talking about the cover-uppers? All right. Well, thanks so much for coming out to the streets of YouTube late. A mouse in a house. Yes. So please hit your creepy thumbs up like button. All right. Now I want to put the mouse in the house just so that I can rhyme. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can do that. There. There's the mouse in the house. You see him? Yay. So cute. So cute. Okay. Enough playing with my toys. You guys have a lovely night. Take really good care of yourself. I hope you can get good rest, good relaxation, stay hydrated, stay well nourished, stay positive, and just be kind to yourself. Meet yourself right where you're at. So, enough of my soapbox. I'm going to head off to bed and try to practice what I preach, because I only say things to you guys that I need to say to myself, right? All right. I hope to see you tomorrow. Sending you light, sending you love, and thanks again for helping me out with having this live stream and knowing that my sound is working. Yay. It's always lovely to see you guys. Thanks so much. And see you soon.